Talk Time with Reed Moriarty.
We're here at the Nubble Lighthouse. You're interviewing Matt Rosenberg.
Hi.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Reed.
So, Matt, how did it get its name Nubble?
Well, the Nubble Lighthouse got its name. It's actually the Cape Nettic Light Station. That's what the Coast Guard calls it. But everybody else calls it the Nubble because a nub is something like that sticks out a little bit. And the Nubble is that little piece that broke off the end of this big peninsula that we're sitting on right now.
Of course we are. All right. So how much is the electric bill here at Nubble Light?
You know what? I don't know the answer to that, Reed. But we do split costs with the Coast Guard. The town of York owns the lighthouse and the island, but the actual lamp itself is owned by the Coast Guard, so we share the electricity costs with them.
So how did you get the job as lighthouse keeper?
Well, I got this job maybe in the least exciting way possible because I applied for it in the newspaper.
You did?
Yeah, it was a job that my wife saw in the newspaper and she thought would be perfect for me because I'm a school teacher and they were looking for somebody to work part-time in the spring and the fall and full-time in the summer.
What exactly do you keep, Matt?
I'm responsible for the grounds, the lighthouse, and the building itself, and the grounds and buildings of the park, too.
The grass is awesome, Matt.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I do a lot of work on the grass over there.
Of course. What's your favorite part of the job, Matt?
Well, my favorite part of the job is probably the part that we're doing right now, which is getting to talk to people, because at the Nubble Lighthouse, we have visitors from all over the world. 500,000 people come here. And because I spend time at the lighthouse and in the park, when I'm in the park, I get to talk to lots of interesting people from everywhere.
All right. Do you have the hardest part, Matt?
The hardest part of the job would probably be getting to it. Because today is a fairly calm day. We just had a hurricane go by us, but it didn't land on us. And it got rough. And it's now calming down. And but getting in my little tiny boat and going across to the lighthouse, some days that I can't even do it, but that's probably the hardest part.
All right. So do you listen to music while doing any of your keeper jobs?
I actually do listen to music while doing keeper jobs because I'm on the island by myself, and it takes me about 6.5 hours to mow the lawn.
Oh, my word.
And so there's a lot of time to listen to music. I like to listen to podcasts.
Of course, you're on my podcast.
I'm a huge podcast fan, but I also like to listen to all sorts of music. I particularly, when I'm mowing the lawn, I like to listen to reggae because
reggae music?
Reggae music because I'm on an island, so I might as well listen to island music.
I like Gregory Isaacs or Bob Marley.
I am a huge fan of both of them. Yeah, so I listen to a lot of Bob Marley when I'm out there.
So can you tell me any dramatic rescue or shipwreck stories?
Oh my gosh, Reed, you have come at just the right time because we had a boat run aground on the island just a couple of days ago. It was on the news. And it was a couple of guys who were fishing, and it was pretty rough out there. They were out there on a small boat that would be appropriate for a lake, and they came by fishing. There's a pile of rock on the southern tip of the island that's exposed at low tide, and they ended up on top of that when it was just covered, and they got stuck. And they were there for about 6 or 7 hours, and when the tide came back up, the waves had gotten bigger, and they ended up getting off the boat, and they stood on the shore and watched the boat get smashed to pieces.
I love the lighthouse scenes in Pete's Dragon. So do you have a favorite movie, Matt?
Oh, let's see. Well, I love Pete's Dragon. I remember watching it when I was a kid. It was on TV, and it was like one of my favorite things. I have to say that one of my favorite movies is A River Runs Through It.
River Runs Through It?
Yeah, it's a movie about fishing. And about brothers who go fishing, and it comes to mind today because I had a bunch of students who read it recently, and we were just talking about it. But it's one of my all-time favorites.
What lights up your life?
What lights up my life? I have to say that it's probably two things. One would be my kids. I have 2 kids in high school, and they're a lot of fun, and they're doing really well in life, and they make me happy, and we have a lot of love. And then the other would be my kids at school, because I really enjoy going back to school, and I love getting to spend time with people and teach them something and learn about them.
Of course. So, Matt, why do you think lighthouses are such a symbol of hope to people?
Well, I think part of it is, that's a great question.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're a symbol of hope to people because they're in beautiful places, and this is a place where we're sitting right now on the bench, that somebody might come and think about what they have going on in their life. I see a lot of people who come here by themselves and sit down and look at the lighthouse and think about it and reflect upon whatever is going on in their mind. And I think when you think about things and you start to sort them out, even the things that trouble you start to make more sense. And people associate that with the lighthouse, like that hopeful feeling.
Of course. So, Matt, do you interact with other lighthouse keepers around the world?
You know, the only lighthouse keeper I know is the guy that I replaced. So the funny thing is that a lighthouse keeper is a job that barely exists anymore. Most lighthouses are automated. The Nubble is automated, and so it runs automatically all the time by itself. It only needs occasional maintenance. And so a lot of the lighthouse keepers are gone now. And so I have kind of an old-fashioned job that doesn't exist much anymore.
All right. So, Matt, what do you love most about Maine?
You know, Maine is a really special place. I think Maine people have a specific personality that is both kind and self-reliant, and I love that. But I also love the fact that we have an ocean and mountains and beautiful rivers and lakes, and you can drive to all that stuff in one day and enjoy every bit of it.
How much lobster do you have in a typical summer, Matt?
I think it varies from summer to summer. Some years I've eaten so much lobster that I'm amazed that I can't get sick of it. And then
Talk Time with Reed Moriarty.
Well, my favorite lobster recipe would be my mom's lobster stew. And not a lot of people eat lobster stew, but it's pretty much lobster in cream and butter. And it always reminds me of my mom, and it's so delicious, and it's such a decadent way to eat lobster.
All right.